this insanity. Doctor Who season 14 was a jumpstart the series has needed for years. Did you see okay? This is Doctor Who Flux, right? People were tearing their hair out at how bad the ratings were. Oh no, it's only got a 5.8. Oh, 4.64. Oh, they would dream of a 4.64 now. They didn't come close to a 4.64. Right? What's the highest they got? 4.06. Right? And that's when they're apoplectic about how bad it was doing. Right? If that was a jumpstart it needed, why didn't it jumpstart it? Warning, this article contains spoilers for season 14. Let's see this idiot insane argument. The first season of showrunner Russel Davies' second tenure of Doctor Who has now wrapped. After the finale of plenty of sci-fi wackiness and emotional payoffs, no emotional payoff whatsoever. Plenty of sci-fi wackiness that just wasn't very good, right? No emotional payoff whatsoever. I mean, right, honestly, Ruby Sunday's mother being nobody? No. We can find a look back at the old season, compare it to its predecessors. I was just doing that. Doctor has always been a British cultural staple since 1963, up until 2017, but gained more of a worldwide audience in 2005 relaunch. That's because they put it on Netflix and did very well with Matt Smith. Also spearheaded by Davies. After so many years, so many ups and downs over the past 20 years, how is the show faring in its latest iteration? Shit! A totally different type of shit from the previous iteration, but shit. Gay fan fiction. Well, all things considered, after a quite frankly dreadful era overseen by producer Chris Chibnall, well, I can't say he didn't like that, and you might like this, which preceded Davies' return because he had to return because it did so badly, and then he fell completely. And that hatted assembled final season under Moffat that came before that. Fuck off! That was a great season. Season 1 has been a massive step up in quality. In what way? Does it look prettier to you? Is it less complicated? Is it less complicated because you're a bit of a dummy? Right? It used to be Doctor Who was too clever for people like you. And it was much better for it, quite frankly. It's not perfect. No, it's shit. And we'll examine where it could improve everywhere a little later. But Shooting Out was first season of Doctor Who. The first time in years, Doctor Who has felt like it had a purposeful creation. No, it had a purposeful creation with Jodie. It was the purposeful word to say that women shouldn't be, shouldn't be oppressed in society, even though they're not. Unlucky number 30. Oh, first, how long is this? Is this going to go on forever? Is it going to make me want to shoot myself? Okay, it's not so bad. It's not so bad. Unlucky number 13. Well, we were unlucky once, mate. Not so much a hot take to say that Russell Davies returned for a second time as showrunner. Doctor was stuck in something of a bit of a rough spot. Moffat's tenure as showrunner is divisive amongst fans. Not anymore, it's not. But the fan favorite installment, Heaven Sent, didn't really like it. Which was part of the wrap-up of the 12th Doctor, Peter Capaldi, Clara Oswald's relationship in season 9, was the last time the show delivered a truly excellent episode. Fuck off! Really? 1 second. Yeah. So again, Heaven Sent, I wasn't really rate. I actually thought Hellbent was better. I prefer the Husband of River Song. Pilot was an excellent episode. I am sorry. Right? It was an excellent episode. Smile was okay. Wasn't anything, massive to write home about. Thin Ice also okay. Knock Knock was lower quality. Oxygen. I like that one, actually. And I like The Extremist, Pyramid at the End of the World, Lie of the Land, and Empress of Mars. That trilogy before going to Mars. And I would watch any of those way before anything was shooting, right? Empress of Mars 2, each was like, meh, World Enough in Time, and The Doctor Falls superb, as is Twice Upon a Time. So you are talking shite, my man. Absolute shite. To the last time truly experienced in the 2015 Christmas episode, Husband River Song will be his farewell to the show. Moffat originally LB's farewell show probably would have been better, right? And the special still feels like the most appropriate series finale. Actually, I kind of hear that. That's an interesting point. Man, look, you're making a good point there. Doctor Who will likely ever have tying off every loose end, and Doctor and his wife a happy ending. But Moffat stayed for one more season, I guess, because they would have cancelled it if they hadn't. And everything went downhill from there. I disagree. Not that season 10 doesn't have a chance. Like Paul Mackie's performance, and look, this guy obviously liked Paul Mackie being relentlessly lesbian, right? Well, Moffat clearly exhausted all his big ideas. Again, you are watching a different show. World Enough in Time, I thought, was excellent. I love that. Twice a month, I thought all these things. I thought there was a lot of excellence in that, yeah. Right, and it was a lot better for not having Clara. General taking over only made everything worse with 3 seasons of almost completely bereft of quality we see in the early eras. I bet you were screaming how great it was, mate, at the time. Pretty much the only good thing about the run was Jodie Whittaker's performance of the Doctor. Really? Do you really think that what was it about a performance that you liked? Was it how she completely didn't convince anybody she was a Doctor in any way, shape, or form ever? Right? Do you think it might be something something to do with that? I don't know. With Broadchurch alum doing everything in her power to wrestle something workable. She didn't wrestle anything. She was unbelievably shit. Oh my God. Every time she came on screen, it imploded. Okay, 1 second. Let's see. Do I have a clip of this? See, I don't know what the Jodie era that I actually kept, that I actually have on file, because why would I have any on file? I think I got some of it. Let's have a look. Do I have Spyfall? Which has that big... oh, yes, I do. Is this the one where she has a confrontation? Oh, yeah. Let's look at the confrontation she has with Lenny Henry. Where is it? There we go. This is her performing the Doctor.
Nice party. Nice house.
Daniel, don't think we've been introduced.
I'm the Doctor.
And it's such a bad David Tennant impersonation, isn't it?
I'm a +1. So, did you assassinate the head of MI6 yourself, or just order it?
I think you're at the wrong party. Casino theme, not whodunit.
Why is there an alien code embedded at the edge of your company's systems?
There's no line she delivers is believable, is it?
We both know you're in league with a race of alien creatures.
I think you better get your medication checked, Doctor, or maybe some psychiatric help, because I don't know who you are or what you're talking about.
How long have they been here?
Again, it's like one of the worst confrontations I've ever seen.
Where are they from? Who recruited whom? Are you running them, or are they running you?
Again, this is just a bad David Tennant impersonation. Where's it when she's in the casino? She's shit at everything. Hey, I give up. Oh, I'm the Doctor, mate. Oh, chocolate great. It worked when Matt Smith did it, darling. Do shit. Yeah, no, she was awful. She was awful. Really? Yeah, she was awful. With a good performance of the Doctor, something workable. But sadly, the 13th era is one of the weakest in the show's history. Yes, woke shit, as I like to call it. But no, wait a minute. Here comes woker shit. From an array of flat, uninteresting companions, incomprehensible plotting, and dialogue-driven far more by exposition than character, the Doctor... becoming conservative-minded individual who defends the status quo and a massive unneeded retcons of the series mythology. Well, Russell Davies loved it. The Chibnall era would likely have killed any other show. It kind of did, didn't it? But Doctor Who is too big to ever go away, to ever meaningfully go away. Well, I went away from 89 to 2005 quite meaningfully. Oh, man. I wonder if Doctor Who gets cancelled, if it will make Big Finish become stronger or weaker. I don't know. It's an interesting question. And with the Doctor, with Disney Plus swooping in to take over the international distribution and revamp the series, was assured. But thankfully, Doctor Who is already showing significant signs of improvement. Like what? Right? And it all starts with a new era, solid foundation. They want to tell queer stories. It's the queer Doctor Who, the queer era. That's not a solid foundation. As of the best eras of modern Doctor Who, there's been there's been 4, right? It's not been so many. Modern Doctor Who, season 14 hones in on mostly episodic plot centered around the Doctor and a single companion. Yes, that was good. I agree with you. This style of storytelling has always been to show strong suit, but only if those stories are insanely simplistic and dumb, which they all were. Insanely simplistic and dumb, or just fell apart completely, right? Which, yeah, look, let's just go through the list. Space Babies, simplistic and dumb. Devil's Call, simplistic and dumb and evil. Boom. Simplistic and dumb, even that, yeah. 73 yards, simplistic and dumb. Good premise, falls apart. Don Bubble, good premise, falls apart. Rogue, the Doctor's sex story, not a love story. Legend of Ruby Sun, Empire of Death, simplistic and dumb. Simplistic and dumb is what this season was. Simplistic and dumb. We're up to... there's been a strong shoot down between the 9th Doctor and Rose, 10th Doctor and Donna, and the 12th Doctor and Clara standing out as the best examples of what? Well, you didn't like Matt Smith? It's too early to tell. Yeah, if the 15th Doctor and Ruby will enter the esteemed group, no. Since their low episode count these days, Millie Gibson is still has at least another season. No, she doesn't. She was fired. Or playing her character, but now for the Back for Basics approach seems to be working. No, it didn't. Yeah, that was a good idea, but it's not working. How do you know it's not working? Objective metrics saying it's not working. Well, people consume TV in a different way nowadays. No, they still won't consume shit. I'm sorry, and they run away from shit. That's basically what happens. One of the season's 8 episodes, out of the season episode, only 2 that stand out as not making the grade are Space Babies as being too juvenile, and Dot and Bubble for struggling with the jarring tonal shifts. No, there's none of them. Again, none of them pull together. I'm sorry. This is just a ridiculous shilling piece that we're moving for some reason I don't quite understand. By contrast, the season contains some exemplary episodes. No, it doesn't. The likes of which we haven't seen the shows in years. Boom is another example of how high concept, a high concept self-contained episode written by Stephen Moffat is the best if he came back to script. He came back to script segment. It's probably the best the season was that year, but it had too many plot holes. Frankly, I think the Sun fundamental message of it was quite gross. Quite frankly, I think it was a expression of hatred of religion, of organized religion, because they said, we hate blind faith, but we need it. So if the blind faith is in your own self-defined religion, then it's a good thing. If the blind faith is in religion, then oh no, that's bad, right? That's bad. So I didn't really like it, right? Technically, I'll give the Doctor a Doctor-like horror story that goes in unexpected directions. What, like no sense whatsoever? Like it goes in the direction of having no internal logic whatsoever. I guess you could have asked the David Tennant Doctor, but he said, no, I'm too busy. Not going to help you. Goodbye. Technically gives unexpected direction. Then the 2-parter, The Legend of Ruby Sun, the Empire of Death, brings a through line. Established the 14th Doctor special, the Pantheon of Discord, a collection of evil gods that to an explosive conclusion. with a final confrontation with Sutek, which was awful. Literally, they put a chain around his neck and dragged him through the time vortex, bringing death to death. It was literally awful, right? The teasers related to the subplot are better handled than the previous attempts. No, they weren't. With the show's history and at story arcs, especially because the members of the Pantheon are actually used as villains for specific episodes. With the Toy Maker, blah blah blah, with Maestro. Okay, yeah. So there was some internal consistency, but you can say that about the Chibnall era as well. I'm sorry. And although the topic is contentious, I felt the reveal of Ruby's mother as a normal human being instead of a cosmic being or a long-lost figure from the Who lore to be a poignant choice, if underwhelming and nonsensical. Right? None of these are good choices. Underwhelming, nonsensical. And Ruby reuniting with her mother to be one of the season's best emotional scenes. Not really. I think I might fell asleep doing that for the first time. Long-form stories have never been Doctor Who's strength under any showrunner. You might share a good point with that, okay? Story arcs, yes. Long-form storytelling, maybe not. You might well have a good point with that. And agrees example will be season 13, which became an overly convoluted... Okay, no. What was the problem with Flux was they threw many pieces up against the wall and just forgot about them instead of putting them together, right? It was just left with too many plot holes, and it collapsed, right? It completely collapsed. But at least it kind of looked like Doctor Who, which was the first time in a couple of years that it did that. Welcome, Reprieve, explain messy storytelling of the past. Okay, so I get it. You don't like the convoluted storylines, right? You don't like that kind of Moffat-like plotting. I get that, right? I get that. One second, just gonna make myself a little refill of something to drink. Glug 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 glug. Let me grab it. Let me grab an iced tea bag. She cried. What are we gonna go for? We're gonna go for a bit of what's it? Lemonana. Okay, let's see what that's like. You have a few minutes to brew. What is a Hebrew? A male tea bag. We love a bit of Benny Hill. Never gets better than Benny Bloody Hill, baby. So what are they even saying? I'm falling asleep reading this article. I'm that bored with it. Probably stakes are where has never been egregious example will be season 13 convoluted mess that really left the audience with a fixed point of reference. Well, they did that on purpose because if they did, though, the fixed point of reference would be Chris Chibnall can't write for shit, which is a reasonably fixed point. So wait, Chibnall's no longer teaching how to be a showrunner, I take it. If he's got his play, if he's doing a play now, isn't he? I don't know. Man, what a disaster that must have been for his career. Although, again, maybe not, right? Maybe not. Here each episode gets to stand on its own terms, so why do you put the first two together? And both plotting and the stakes are easy to understand. Blimey, they're easy. Yeah, that's not the thing. That's the problem. It's easy to understand by a 4-year-old, right? It's a welcome reprieve to the extremely messy storyline in the past. This guy's just not very clever and not able to work out Doctor Who, so he got kind of annoyed with it. And so dumb Doctor Who, he was great with. An acknowledgement that Doctor Who's 60 years of history can sometimes be a daunting to wrap one's brain around. Luckily, we have a new take on the Doctor to guide us through it. Yes, a super gay Doctor. Dr. Whomst, right? The most consistently strong aspect of Doctor Who is that every incarnation of Doctor is gifted performer to take up the role. Well, not Jodie Whittaker, and I don't think Ncuti Gatwa either. Frankly, I've seen his work, and it's just look. I was in the bag for him before I saw him. He just hasn't pulled it out of the bag. I'm sorry, he hasn't delivered, and he just really genuinely hasn't delivered. The most consistent is the strong performer play the role. Favorites may vary. Matt Smith's Heads Unite. Don't know what that means. But even the writing was even when the writing was the best, fans can be always had a solid actor to latch onto, except for the last two. This train catches a continuous shooting gut was 15, and this 15th Doctor. No, it doesn't. Who begins a tremendous energy and an easygoing swagger. I'm sick of the swagger, right? It's beyond swagger. It's just pure arrogance. And again, you could tell the production team was so incredibly sure this was going to blow everything away. It was going to be the best thing ever, and everyone's going to love it. And it's not. You're a complete failure. To the point where it's apparent even from the beginning in the last 10 minutes or so of debut outing the giggle, I didn't think he was very good at that. Yet perhaps the most interesting aspect of his take on the Doctor was revealed over the course of the season as how much of the performance as well a performance on the Doctor's part, because deep down 15 is a hot mess. Okay, I thought it was supposed to be super together. Like after David Tennant went and lived with Donna Noble for the rest of his incarnation. If that's, I don't even know. It gives me a headache even trying to work this bullshit out. It really does, right? It really does. Well, it really means the 14th to have a happy ending with his best friend Donna would let him calm down and be collected in the next phase of life. 15 is not healed at all. His over-the-top mannerisms and friendly demeanor try to present otherwise, but his psyche is held together by duct tape and prayers. Well, that kind of invalidates the entire David Tennant arc then, doesn't it? It's just kind of stupid. I'm like, okay, it's one thing to ignore a previous era in your current era, but not when you actually did both of them. His emotion bubbling over in the slightest conflict. Subliminal self-loathing. He struggles with blaming. What are you reading into? This guy has the emotional depths of the cat from Red Dwarf. None whatsoever. And blaming himself for everything bad that happened in the universe comes to a head with Empire Death when he screams into the void upon seeing a lifeless universe again, except the world doesn't revolve around him. And that evil. Oh God, this is just hard to get through. Evil beings making evil choices is not his fault. It's just because he's tangentially connected to them, as with Sutek clinging from the TARDIS to enact his master plan. That was so shit. What is the Bugle Sutek and declaring himself the one who brings life to the universe in a powerful moment? It wasn't powerful. Every main Doctor in the modern era has a critical flaw, and Shooting Gut one's one is acting, that gives them dimension. The Ninth Doctor, his crassness. He wasn't crass. 10th Doctor is rage, maybe his excruciating loviness with his excruciating lovey wife. Loviness, his emotional. 12th is self-doubt. No, God, you gotta. The 11th Doctor, his arrogance. He didn't have any. What are you talking about, Matt Smith? 12th Doctor is self-doubt. Okay, 13th Doctor authoritarianism. Well, that's true. The 14th Doctor wasn't around long enough to establish what made him so different than all the others. He was shit when he was good before. That's a bit different. So he had 3 specials in a full instead of a full season. 15 is emotionally fragile and sees a Doctor who was supposed to be the most suave and composed. This doesn't sound like praise. Actually, be one of the most vulnerable and under the surface leaves many possibilities for the character-driven stories in the future. Some of Davis's weaker tendencies have still appeared throughout the season, such as wonky world building or rushed resolutions. But hopefully, these the finale addresses. Addressed next time around, but no, it won't. But after how much of a slog the last few seasons could be, jumping back into Doctor Who feels fresh, focused, feels like fun. Now, again, you're lying, mate. You're just lying. You're just lying. Okay, none of that was real, right? None of that was real. 10 terrible ideas that nearly happened to Doctor Who. Let's see if we can. Compare them to the terrible ideas that did happen in Doctor Who. We have the Young Doctor Adventures. What? With a timeless shot. What? When was that? Key to catching on Doctor Who's overnight success in 2005. The BBC tapped Russell Davies for a spin-off ideas. I never heard of this one. The Young Doctor Adventures? It's awful. One concept was Russell Davies was a CBBC show that would focus on the Doctor's childhood and Gallifrey. For obvious reason, Davies declined to pursue the idea further and developed Sarah Jane Adventures instead. Thank God! Right? It was the right call, as the series of Young Doctor would have risked destroying any sense of mystery. Oh, you mean what, like the Timeless Child did, right? Okay, good. Sense of mystery that would around the character for stars. How can you develop the whole show around the Doctor's childhood and not reveal their birth name? I think they could have got away with that. Sure, the Doctor, I think the second nickname from the Armageddon Factor and Happiness Patrol, right? Could prove a decent workaround, but what would his parents call them? What would the parents be like? Would they even be parents, or would they just be looms, right? Which I actually thought was a lot cooler and a lot more interesting. Then, and what then would the stories be like? We would have a young version of the Doctor and the Master running rings around the tutors in the academy and having food fights in the canteen. It sounds like BBC really wanted was Harry Potter with timey-wiminess. That's basically what they got. Like, even Harry Potter is much more detailed and complex than this era of Doctor Who. So thank God. Yeah. No wonder it's a Russell Davies idea, right? No wonder. That's his stupid idea, man, too. Dr. Tom Baker in the TV movie. One of Philip Seymour's biggest stipulations on the 96 movie was that it maintained continuity of the previous 33 years. So that end, Sylvester McCoy as the Seventh Doctor. Now, was that a good idea or not? I mean, it was something good for fans. I think it ultimately hurt the story. Although, again, I really recommend the 4K project. They have a 4K version of that movie, and it's brilliant, right? It's absolutely brilliant. While that itself was arguably a bad idea for the relaunch of the show, it made more sense than one change suggested by one of the executive producers. Joe Wright, I believe, came on through BBC Video. And was like around with Tomb of the Cybermen. They got very good sales from that. Who represented BBC interest in the project was keen to move away from the slightly negative perception of the Sylvester McCoy era. Wright believed that Tom Baker will be a bigger draw as a past Doctor to hand a talk show. How are you going to do that? What, you're going to skip over Peter Davison and Colin Baker and Sylvester McCoy? Well, I guess they would have done. That might have been true, but not least because Baker's best known as a Doctor in the US at the time, but would have been utterly disastrous Doctor Who continuity, as an older Tom Baker being gunned down in San Francisco would negate the entire 1980s period of the Doctor Who. What would that even mean? Yeah, it's a good question. And when they were bringing back in 2005, the BBC executives just assumed they were going to get Tom Baker to do it. So that's what was the right choice. Okay, fine. Yeah, that was a terrible idea. But, like, we've had a lot of them. Toclafane being behind the Time War. Well, yeah, again, that's because they, already did. When Terry Nathan's estate quibbled over the use of the Daleks in 2005 revival, Russell David Robert Sherman came up with new antagonists for season 1, just in case. Contrary to popular belief, Sherman did not just Tipex over Dalek and write Cybermen. Russell Davies created another monster for Tipex. Blimey. That was invented by one of the monkey's mothers. Was it Mike Torch, maybe? I'm not sure. Russell Davies was created another monster for to use in the first Dalek episode, which briefly was jokingly titled Absence of the Daleks. Called Spheres, these monsters were essentially early versions of Toclafane from the season 3 finale, which means they are a race of evolved future humans inside metal balls that would have been revealed as a terrifying enemy that laid waste to the Time Lords, the Nestings, and the Gulf. Thankfully, Terry Nathan's estate buckled and we got the Daleks. Thank God for that. That is true. It would have been as it should have been from the start, but it's hard to imagine Toclafane being anywhere near as iconic as a Dalek. Well, they weren't, sadly. I mean, I can see they're basically this. They're similar kind of protagonists, right? But I can see why. They're basically the Dalek bulls who were. So that would have been a bad idea. Navlander's animated series. Oh, man. So they got the last issue of Vault magazine goes into some detail, and yeah, this would have been awful. I know, awful. I know, like I kind of like those 90s cards, like Men in Black. Was it the real Men in Black? Real Ghostbusters. It would have been as close as the real Ghostbusters was to Ghostbusters. Of the various independent production companies wanted to make Doctor Who on a license in the early 1990s, Nelvana got quite close to devising a concept. The Canada-based animation studio developed a Doctor Who cartoon that was sat neatly along the real Ghostbusters of Captain Planet on Saturday mornings. Nevada's animated Doctor Who was a completely reimagined show which turned the Doctor into some kind of crusader for hire, really? Working at the behest of the Time Lords. The series retained the iconic characters like the Master, Cybermen, Daleks, and good old K9, and dialogue in the scripts and treatments doesn't feel like a Doctor at all. For example, at one point the Doctor tells K9 to cease that infernal barking. I can kind of hear that. Well, the Master was a half man, half cyborg with a robot bird sidekick. It looked modeled after Sean Connery. All right, then. I think it would have been kind of fun. I think it would have been way better than The Devil's Cord, quite frankly. More enjoyable, right? The Doctor was eventually struck down by the BBC. The project was eventually struck down by the BBC. I was right about the Doctor being struck down by the BBC, which is probably for the best, although it's slightly sad that the Doctor Who's time stick weapon wasn't a big Christmas toy for 93. They were in the middle of negotiations with Amblin at the time, with Philip Siegel. The return of Meglos. When were they brought Meglos back? This must be a Russell Davies idea, right? Remember the Lodger and how a nefarious alien menace that was tied to an abandoned spaceship? Writer Gareth Roberts really had another idea for the episode villain. He wanted to bring back the shape-shifting cactus monster Meglos. That's pretty wild. Who would masquerade as the Doctor and Craig's neighbor, Mrs. Meglos. The cactus creature that in an episode with James Corden talk about annoying pricks. Well, it's quite funny. Well written, sir. Man, James Corden. He's one of the biggest pussies in Hollywood, and I'm not talking about the time when he was in Cats. On one level, Meglos would have worked quite well as a villain. I think he probably would have, actually. The Lodger could have easily assumed forms of people luring the unsuspecting civilians to their death in Craig's building. That probably would have made that Capaldi episode not a lot better as well. But while the return of Meglos amused Stephen Moffat, Nick's idea, because after the Vinovincian and Banacafalata, the Doctor didn't really need any more spiky face aliens. Not only that, but the alien posing as a kindly old lady was basically a plot of Amy's Choice that would have aired a few weeks ago. Okay, that makes much more sense, actually, to dump it. Instead, Moffat suggested that the treatment should be a malfunctioning time machine, something that would return again in this era. It was a much better idea, and the sad choices on the other end of the intercom are far more chilling than a cactus would have been. I'm not sure about that. I kind of like the idea. 5, Rose Tyler Earth Defense. Yeah, they actually had the budget for this. It was ready to go. And Russell Davies said, "Oh no, we don't want to oversaturate it." Perhaps one of the last times he said something intelligent. One of the Russell Davies' worst ideas was to develop Rose Tyler spin-off series that would have aired on BBC One after the end of Doctor Who Series 2. They wanted a special, right? And he basically turned it down. In a 2006 interview in the magazine, Doctor Who magazine, Davies said that the entire show had been given a working title, Rose Tyler Earth, has been commissioned by the BBC and even had been budgeted. The next stage would have been to secure Billy Piper's involvement, but then Russell Davies began to have second thoughts while he watched the filming of the final scene between the Doctor and Rose and Doomsday. He realized it was a terrible idea to go ahead with the spin-off show. I thought it's just he didn't want to oversaturate it. That's what he said at the time. It spoils Doctor if we see Rose. You saw her 2 years later. If we see concrete fact that her life continues to be exciting without the Doctor. Again, we saw her literally 2 years later. Casting out events was definitely the right decision for Doctor Who, especially as Freeman Adjman had a hard enough time following Billy Piper without a former companion with her own show. I don't think that would have made a difference, frankly. Mark Gatiss Doctor Who revival. Oh man, I think I kind of like this idea, right? I remember it was about in 2002, I think. There was an article. There was a roundtable in Doctor Who magazine with Mark Gatiss, Russel T. Davies, Paul Cornell, and a few other people about how they could bring Doctor Who back. So when it was brought back in 2005, it was zippy, vibrant, modern, and faster paced with a breath of fresh air that reinvigorated the Doctor Who for a new generation while staying true to the show's core ethos. If only they did that now, right? If only they did that now. However, things could have been much different. In the early 2000s, future new series writer Mark Gatiss and Gareth Roberts, along with future Doctor Who magazine editor Clayton Hickman, were devising their own reboot. Yeah, I remember this. Instead of introducing a young, energetic Doctor blowing up in a central London department store, their pilot introduced a 60-something Doctor working in an antique shop in a sleepy village. And instead of 13 episodes at 45 minutes, Gatiss wanted to do a 3-part serial totaling 21 episodes. What? You want to do 7 3-part serials totaling 21 episodes. I guess 25 minutes each long, right? Gatiss, Roberts, and Hickman acknowledged that they were too meek in their Doctor Who pitching, highlighting the ways to save money rather than to sell an exciting adventure series. Wow, they just missed it, right? They just missed their opportunity. It's unlikely the version Doctor Who had got off the ground. It would have been fun, little curio, much like a TV movie. But it feels like it would have. Unlikely it would have spooled 19 years of telly. I think that's fair, right? I think that's a pretty fair criticism. Killing off the Brigadier. Oh, I thought that was actually a good idea, and they've done it several times. I mean, honestly, that moment when they really did kill off the Brigadier, when Matt Smith was trying to avoid going to Trenzalore, was it? And he wanted to go and visit Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart instead of doing it, and he goes there and he realizes he's dead. That was a brilliant moment, right? That was an absolutely brilliant moment in TV. So, writer Ben Horowitz really intended to kill the Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart in the 89 serial Battlefield, which would have been a good idea, I think, before realizing he couldn't bring himself to do it. It's just as well as hard to imagine the story, the story that would have had sufficient magnitude to kill off the Doctor's older friend. I think it would have been fine. And they did film his death scene, right? I think they filmed 3 endings. Battlefield is a lot better than people give it credit for, and will make a degree of thematic sense to the end of the Brigadier story there. It's a story about old soldiers and never-ending cycles of war and violence. However, it is poorly directed, means, well, you can, the special edition is much better, meaning that the darkness and the subject matter largely gets lost in the sunny scenery, slapstick battle sequences against them. Well, that's why special edition is better, because they cut down on that. And the death of the Brigadier would have been an insult. Our inability to kill the Brig meant that we had to endure the sharp tonal shifts of the Arthurian nights, trampolining over explosions, to the Doctor losing his oldest friend. Instead, the Brig went out as he should have done, peacefully. Who knows if his corpse is still being turned into Cyberman? Man, it worked on paper, died on screen, right? Absolutely died on screen. Doctor Who's Rose Experiment. Doctor's Rose Experiment. Though Boomtown feels like it was always part of Series 1 plan, it was actually a late replacement for the unusual story by Shameless creator Paul Abbott. Abbott worked on an outline for a few weeks, which revolved around the idea that Rose had been created by the Doctor in experiment to find the perfect companion. I remember hearing about this. I do remember hearing about it. First of all, what on earth? Second of all, quite how this would have worked in the context of the rest of the series is anyone's guess. They could have made it work. This is not such a bad idea. That's a pretty huge shift in the Doctor-Rose dynamic, and by the point where we are still 2 episodes left, not to mention Rose's return in season 2. It was not for naught, though. Abbott had abandoned the project due to other commitments. Russell Davies wrote Boomtown in Space. The Ninth Doctor had a lot of darkness coming off him from the Time War, but going so far as to reveal that he had bred a companion in some twisted experiment. Seems to, I don't know. I think that would have worked. I think that could have certainly been made to work. Could have been made to work. Stephen Taylor returns as a cow. Oh, God. This would have been one of the dumbest ideas ever and fits so into the current era, right? Yes, this is a current era idea, so therefore it's a terrible idea. If you're ever in Cardiff very late at night and your heart is in the right place, you can sometimes hear a great Welshman hooting in Tetley's Fueled Delight as he comes up with another insane Doctor Who concept. All of them are bad, Russell. All of them are bad. You need to back off from all of them. Thankfully, not all of Russell's late night brainwaves made it to the show. Oh, that noise Russell Davies makes when he comes up with ideas like Captain Jack as the face of Doe and Sutek. It's an anagram, which isn't really an anagram. Thankfully, not all of Russell's late night brainwaves have made it into the show. One particular plan was to bring back Peter Purvis in The Giggle, which was so ridiculous that it rightly receives a lot of flack from David Tennant and Phil Collison. I'm glad that somebody at some point pushed back against him, right? During the video commentary of The Giggle, Russell outlined his abandoned plan to have a character in Ruminant, a character called the Ruminant, which was a giant cow. So far, Russell D. Davies, but the giant cow would later whip up his mask like something out of Scooby-Doo to reveal it was none other than the first Doctor companion, Stephen Taylor, returning to help the Doctor fight the toy maker. Again, it fits seamlessly into this era in that it's shit. Even in an episode as insane as The Giggle, the Ruminant is clearly a step too far. It's all a step too far, right? Look, Yasmin Finney was a step too far. Thankfully, we got Stephen and Vicky's tale and the TARDIS. And again, TARDIS tales completely destroyed the reveal of the memory TARDIS. And I finally worked out what the memory TARDIS is now. It's like the thing that Millie remembered somehow using Unit technology, which was much better. Not a cow insight. Man. They are terrible ideas, right? They are absolutely mind-meltingly terrible ideas. You know what else is there? Doctor Who boss Caesar's ride of a lifetime revelations with Mrs. Flood. Fuck off. I mean, the arrogance of this era, right? They just thought we would all love it so much. Oh, the queer Doctor Who. You don't like the queer Doctor Who? You're not a phobe, are you? No, we just don't like shit. I am a shit phobe, right? And like, me, it was shit. I'm sorry, it was shit. Shooty was shit. He was too busy wanting to get laid to be the Doctor. He was just too egotistical. Oh, God, I really hated Shooty Gut was Doctor. Right? And that's 2 Doctors in a row I've really hated. Even though I think everything from Capaldi onwards isn't canon. The identity of Anita Dobson's character is still very much a mystery. Yeah, but nobody cares, right? There's no impact from this era whatsoever. No one cares. And although the recent Doctor Who season finale, Empire of Death, that was the episode that killed Doctor Who, again, provided direct answers to many of the run's most burning questions, including the ending to Ruby's mother. Nobody gives a shit. Other mysteries were left very much unresolved. Yes, we know, because you filming 2 seasons back to back with your pitiful 8 episodes a season. Yes, we are aware. Oy vey. Oy vey. Perhaps the most notable was the identity of Anita Dobson's character, Mrs. Flood, who made another animatic address to camera at the close, telling viewers, and what happens, you might wonder, to that mysterious traveler in time. He's not mysterious. He's a horny gay guy. That's the mystery. How he's always trying to get laid. He is not mysterious at all. Anyway, you might wonder that mysterious traveler in time and space known as the Doctor. I'm sorry to say his story ends in absolute terror. What, did they see the ratings? Yeah, that's probably why he's in absolute terror. Although, fair dues to Shooty, right? Fair dues to Shooty. He actually put on, we looked at this earlier, we'll look at it again. he actually put on a normal pair of clothes, right? And he looks quite good. Like, he looks like the Doctor now, right? I know. Like, now you dress like a normal person, right? Really, now? What a great look. Why couldn't you have gone from that instead of all like you're relentlessly, and I can't really say it any other way, faggy shit, right? That's the relentless faggy shit. Oh, no. And look, here, you look like, an authority. You look like, an alpha male, right? All through the show, you look like a annoying... You're basically playing like Eric Eflon, is what most people said. I haven't seen Eric Eflon, but yeah, what a shock. It ends in absolute terror. Ever since there has been an understandable lot of speculation both about Mrs. Flood means by this and who exactly she is, with Dobson herself revealing that we will find out quite a lot about her next season. Well, less people will, because not many people are going to be watching. What do you reckon the ratings will be for next season? Right? I think for Christmas, they'll get it up till... they've got to get a 4 overnight for Christmas, don't they? It'll probably be on Disney Plus like a week. Like what is the calendar for? Let me go. Not the calendar. What is the calendar for December? July, August, September, October, November, December. So the 25th is a Wednesday. Do they drop things on Wednesday? Do they drop? I can't remember. They drop things on Friday. I think maybe Friday and Tuesday, maybe. Yeah, whatever. It's a shit show, right? It's a relentless shit show. But what do you reckon the ratings will be? Maybe they're solid at this point. I think I'll probably open a little bit lower, like 2.10 range. And I think, the average 7-day was 3.7. I'm going to say the average 7 days is 3.2. Right? I think 3.2. That sounds reasonable. Because, again, the hyperbole doesn't matter. It doesn't do anything anymore. Nobody believes you. You fucked it too badly, Russell. Everything there's been understandable. A lot of speculation about as to what Mrs. Flood means by this and who exactly is, with Anita Dobson herself revealing that she couldn't, that she should find out quite a lot about herself, about the next season. She wanted to say, I've been in the dark for so long that I kind of like it now. I never know. Oh, so she doesn't know. So Russell's making it as he goes along. I mean, I guess that's what script writing is at the best of times. But, in all fairness. But yeah, Russell's making it as he goes along. Now, showrunner Russell Davies has teased what fans can expect. Not knowing what's happening, that's kind of the fun part of the ride. Russell Davies teased fans that there'll be a ride of a lifetime when it comes to solving the mystery. And even hinted we could find out as early as Christmas, Joy to the World, which is penned by Stephen Moffat. We'll look at that as well in a minute. Appearing in a video message on the official Doctor Who podcast. It's got a little download arrow. Let's see, can we download it? No, that doesn't work at all. Oh God, help us, Crystal D. Fine, we'll download it. See what he has to say for himself. Oh God, I mean, look. I'm sure she's a nice person. She just annoys me the hell out of anything. DW podcast. Fine. But well, if it's nearly down there, why am I going to read it? Why don't I just let Russell Davies say it? Right? That should be enough to excite fans. I can promise you reveals. I promise you, he says in Unleashed. I can also promise you astonishing reveals with lots of fun. With her, as well as so much fun to work with. So good times with Mrs. Flood. Mrs. Flood just sounds like a stupid name. Fine, let's see if we can find it. It didn't say anything.
Back to the official
Doctor Who. I mean, the shit one. The shit one, like, God, thank God I'm not getting a fandom now. Oh, God. Russel just skews me out. She just does. Are they all going to be cavelling about Sutek sitting? I mean, like, this is the only 4 people who have a podcast that go, yeah, I love Sutek sitting on top of the TARDIS.
Yeah.
30 years. I think that was going, fuck off. What's he got to say for himself? Now I'm intrigued.
Everyone is so lovely.
Fuck off, I'm not. No, I'm not, because I think you're shit, right? I think you're genuinely a shit character, a terrible idea, and brought on board by identity. And you're just an embarrassment.
He is quite cheeky.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that Russell wrote that in. Like you said, good series show.
Are you also happy that you weren't Eric?
You know what? As horrible as it sounds, I would have been anything to Doctor Who.
Yeah.
But I was happy I got to do more. And I
Who's Eric? I don't know. Eric Eflon? Oh, goodbye, Doctor. Bye. Catch you later. Fine. Well, is this the... Where's... I mean, I think it's at the end, isn't it? This thing.
I love that moment. What do we make of?
Oh, I love the way we're going. Me too. Yeah. Oh, what was that? No. Who's that they're talking to? Who's that scary?
Hot chili.
Is there anything else you want him to
And
do for
I'll
you?
publicly tweet, I am wrong. And trust me, I do not.
Okay, so you got something wrong. Oh, here we go. Let's see what's good. Bloody hell. 38 minutes of waffle to get to that. Fuck me.
Play from the man, the myth, the legend, Russell T Davies.
So that's the end of the series. Now, dear Shabazz, thank you for sticking with it, but it doesn't stop there. It goes on. We have a Christmas special.
We hated it, Russell, okay? Literally all of us hated it. We all thought it was shit. You did very badly, right? Very poor. That's how I would describe it. Very poor. Not a good job, Russell. Not a good job at all. So don't start sucking your own
coming. And I absolutely can tell you that Ruby Sunder has not finished her story. Millie Gibson's coming back. That's not a spoiler. That's an absolute fact. We're very excited.
Yeah, I know, but you did fire her, remember? Right? I think you're just trying to cover up for you firing her. We all know you fired her. Right? The only people who don't know you fired her are the people who are surprised that Joe Biden's incontinent. Right? I mean, like literally everybody knew. Everybody knew everything. And you saying that, pretending that she wasn't fired while not confirming she wasn't fired, means she was fired. I mean, like, for goodness sake, right? For goodness sake.
Christmas is mad and brilliant and exciting. I can tell you that the story as we go into 2025.
I don't fucking believe a word that comes out of your fucking mouth. Mad and brilliant and exciting. I mean, it's written by Moffat, but like, fuck off. Oh. You haven't delivered at all. What, are you recasting the Doctor? Okay, are we going to get a Richard Grant Doctor or a what's it called again? A Hugh Grant Doctor? You know, somebody who actually acts like the Doctor?
Ruby's family is not quite at an end. There's more revelations to come. But why was Mrs. Flood standing on a rooftop making those pronouncements? All I can say is you are literally in for the ride of a lifetime. Please come back.
No, we're not. I don't believe a word you got to fucking say, mate. Oh, fuck off. Oh, fuck off. I mean, really, I mean that very sincerely. It's a blah, 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 blah. Let's see Moffat trying to get some hyperbole going. Stephen Moffat talks Doctor Who special, Christmas special. Nicola Coughlan will break your heart. Really? Really? What's she going to sit on it, is she? I don't think she will. I don't think she will. What, she's going to be a little non-binary girl who finally finds a way. Whatever. It looks like we're headed for an emotional festive special. Yeah, but not emotional the way you think. And that being said, I quite like the Church on Ruby Road. I think that was the best one of the season. Now that the latest season Doctor has come to a dramatic end, it wasn't dramatic. Do you mean to say anti-dramatic, right? Anti-dramatic would make a lot of sense because that's the end it came to, an anti-dramatic end. It didn't come to a dramatic end at all. Where we are. All eyes are on the Christmas special. No one's either. All eyes are on season 25, right? That's what everyone's looking forward to, the Blu-ray. No one's eyes on this, but no one cares. No one really cares at all. Oh, sorry, my ears are blocked. Oh, yeah, that's better. I think I broke through. And it's clear to see why. Former Doctor Who showrunner Stephen Moffat has penned it. Well, listen, he while he did do the best Christmas special ever, he also did quite a few ropey ones. So they were mostly ropey, unfortunately. The former Doctor Who showrunner penned it, while with Bridgerton star Nicola Coughlan confirmed in the cast. Moffat, I mean, look, she's got work because she's fat, essentially, right? To prove that, get rid of any stereotypes of beauty. I mean, we all know that, okay? Moffat really opened up about what fans expect from Coughlan's character, drumming up even more excitement for the upcoming special. Oh, God, so much excitement. Oh, God, I'm so excited. Okay, more people are excited about voting Labour, okay? No, there's not that much fucking excitement, darling. Nicola's wonderful in it. She'll break your heart, he told the Island AM. Really? Fuck me. Tell you appear on Island AM twice in your career. Once on the way up, once on the way down. Welcome back, Stephen Moffat. There he is in front of the stupid virtual screen thing for Boom, which was just like, didn't really work. I'm sorry. It felt like it was in a studio to me. It really did. It felt like a studio-bound story. I mean, you could just tell, I guess. I don't know. I've seen too many of them now. That it's just kind of a giveaway. I'm not allowed to say anything about it. At least I don't. I think I'm not allowed to say anything about it. So I'll just shut up. He added, "It's going to be shit." He should just say, "Look, it'll probably be shit." All right, keep some street cred. Look, it's just going to be shit. The former showrunner also revealed that it wasn't as weird as it should have been to return to the sci-fi classic. It was just fun. Okay, you guys should stop having fun and go to work. And it was quite nice that that I had my old job back for exactly one episode. Then I could go and lay down. Russell Davies has to keep toiling away all the time, constantly. He explains. Davies himself has also teased what fans can expect from the special. I can't give too much away, but work has begun on it already, and it's mad. It's one of the maddest Christmas specials you ever see. Oh, what's it gonna be? Oh. You said that during the behind-the-scenes video on Empire. Did we just see it? It's epic. It goes in so many different places. Just like Fluxed. And it's a great story of Doctor Who. My name's Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe. And ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.